Cobra Kai gets better every season. It combines 80 nostalgia with some great karate action, lovable protagonists with antagonists that you love to hate. I thought season 4 was great, but I didn't think it balanced the storylines for the adults and the kids really well. I thought the kids took a big hit that season and they focused too much on the adult. And I was scared that season 5 was going to make the same mistake, but it doesn't. Before I get into the premise of this season, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and share this video with your friends that loves reviews, reactions, and ranking lists of the favorite media that we all enjoy. Let's get into what season 5 is about. Following the shocking results of the All Valley tournament where Terry Silver cheated to win in season 4, season 5 finds Terry Silver expanding the Cobra Kai empire and trying to make his no mercy shady style of karate the only game in town. With Kreese behind bars and Johnny Lawrence setting his karate side to focus on repairing the damage he's caused, Daniel LaRusso must call on an old friend Chosen for help. Let's talk about the good. Right off the bat, I have to say that I think that this season balanced the adult and kid storylines a lot better, sometimes mixing them together so that it flowed a lot better than it did before. Johnny Lawrence trying to get his shit together, and, you know, in the beginning of this series, he was down in the dumps, a drunk, couldn't do anything properly. Now that he's getting a family, having positive influences in his life, he's becoming the adult that he's always should have been, and I thought that was absolutely fascinating, seeing him slowly get to becoming a responsible adult. On the opposite side of that, someone that always had his shit together, or at least we thought in the beginning of the series, Daniel LaRusso started to go into a downward spiral, and that was very, very interesting to see. His obsession with taking down Cobra Kai started affecting his business, his friendships, and his family. Mother Amanda taking the kids away because she just couldn't handle craziness he started getting into. And while those are two main adult storylines that drove everything, and then as the kids, a lot of them had storylines like Miguel facing his father and realizing he's not exactly who he thought he would be, Samantha working through her trauma and becoming a better person and a little less toxic, Robbie reconnecting with his father, connecting with Miguel, reconnecting with a bunch of people. It was just him reconnecting with people after he betrayed them and join Cobra Kai and become this fierce enemy at a certain point. I just really loved everything that they were doing. Also, it's so many characters, and even like some characters I can't remember their name right now, just had story arcs that made sense and progressed them throughout the season that kept you so engaged throughout the season. And while we got a lot of character growth and relationship mending between a lot of the main cast and supporting characters, my MVP for this season and my new favorite character, or the new characters in this show, was Chosen, played by Yuji Okumoto, I believe how you say his name. I thought he was absolutely fantastic. He understood the assignment through and through. I think he understood how to be cheesy, how to be funny, to be badass, but also wise and also make mistakes. He just did a great job on all fronts, and he was the ultimate supporting character for the Russos as they started spiraling down, while also surprisingly getting his own character arc as well, and just making him this more lovable, relatable character instead of this old school like I'm going to kill you character, but now we're friends. He was just much more than that. He's an example of how this show makes these characters much more than just a stereotype. Speaking of the LaRusso family and characters becoming more than a stereotype, while Daniel started spiraling, the other characters in the family started to get more. Amanda, a character that I thought she was always so lovely but doesn't get much to do, got to explore herself and her relationship with her husband a little bit more, and her relationship with her kids, and her taking the kids away and letting him kind of like deal with his emotions and things like that, got her to get perspective and finally to fully support him and realize they need to take down Cobra Kai. It can't be some half-ass stuff. It's not like some kiddie, stuff that's just from his past. This is something serious that will affect everyone in the valley. And I think her coming around made her a better character. Sam dealing with her trauma and like keeping to herself and becoming less toxic. I thought it was a fantastic storyline and made that character less annoying, because I feel like she has a lot of annoying attributes throughout all the seasons. And I think that this season finally showed her becoming a more likable character. character, and her brother Anthony, someone that's usually just in the background, he kind of snarky sometimes, finally joining the fight and bringing something unique to the group. A lot of the characters are like head first trying to fight, and he had more of a thinking mentality about things because he's not the best fighter yet. So I really enjoyed all their incorporation in the story and their small arcs that they all got. And Johnny Lawrence has always been the heart and soul of the show. Him trying to get his stuff together was some of the funniest and some of the most heartwarming stuff ever. Him finding out he's going to have a kid with Miguel's mom and him freaking out at first, him trying to get a job and doing it terrible, him being an Uber driver was some of the best stuff that this show could have done because it was so funny and so on brand. And then he just having a conversation with a character that usually just kind of like a throwaway character, but then they use this throwaway character to really bring him to center. And that's something that's just really brilliant about the show. Something that's so outlandish, so cheesy. They know how to get the characters done right and make them more than just throwaway or stereotypes. And just seeing him coming from how he was just in the dumps from season 1 to becoming a real responsible adult in this season while still reclaiming karate in a non-toxic way was just absolutely fantastic. And him going to chase Miguel from Mexico and getting him and finding a way to mend Miguel and Robbie's like blood feud was absolutely fantastic. And that relationship between them was really great. He was just that tie to everybody. Him mending his relationship with Daniel as well. I just really liked all those aspects, and he was such a badass in that fight with Terry Silver. And while it seemed like everything was going positive for the characters, they were mending relationships, having character growth and all these things, a lot of bad crap happened to them and the people they love and the people they know, because Terry Silver power kept growing. He's bringing in new people and new characters from Japan to support him. He started Cobra Kai colonizing the valley and just unleashing his bullies on anyone that was opposite of them. And he's such a complex, layered character. He could just be this like mustache twirling villain of one of world domination, but he has a little bit more to him. He thinks he's doing the right. He's the hero of his own story. Where John Kreese kind of had that, he takes it to another level with the way he goes about things, his monologues, and his just fighting and action scenes. He just was done really, really well. And he actually gave like really sound advice to the kids that made me feel like, damn, maybe he does have their best interests at heart. But then he does something else, and I'm like, yeah, but he's a piece of shit, so he has to be stopped. It was just that back and forth of like, I like this guy a little bit, but he's doing some really bad things. And speaking of how he took it to another level, the finale for this show was absolutely fantastic. The best finale that this show has had, and it's one of the best finales and exciting finales I've seen on a show in a long time, since maybe Severance. I think that he did a great job of escalating this to almost the point where this almost became Mortal Kombat. That deadly showdown that Terry Silver had at his house with Johnny Lawrence, Chosen, and I forgot what the other third guy name was absolutely fantastic. With that coupled with the all-out brawl that was happening at the Cobra Kai complex between Miyagi-Do, Eagle Fang, and the other Cobra Kai kids, and the twist that happened there with the defection and characters coming together and fighting. It was just really, really entertaining. Had me on the edge of my seat, and I really thought that there was some heavy stakes being brought here that scared me for a little bit, because I was like, oh, this is not family friendly no more. This is getting crazy. And I just love that it wasn't just fighting for fighting's sake. It reminded me of that season with the high school fight and how those things were tied into some emotional beats, and that's why it made it so much better. And then that ending of Miguel falling, it didn't have anything to that extreme, but it almost did. Well, yeah, it kind of did something. What happened to Chosen was almost basically like what happened to Miguel in a way. I just thought that it was really fantastic, and Terry Silver was great throughout, and that moment between him and Daniel LaRusso was perfect. Let's talk about the bad. So with the additional storylines, supporting characters, and characters that didn't get a lot of storylines before but getting them now, certain fan favorites, or at least some of my favorites, didn't get to do much. While Miguel did have aspects where he did a lot of different things, he didn't have a lot of agency. I feel like the show began with the Johnny Lawrence starting to find himself and opening and becoming a better person, while Miguel was also like learning not to be bullied and having agency. I feel like through the seasons, he's had less and less agency, and the character has felt lethargic a bit throughout this season, and the actor doesn't seem as excited. Like after his moment with his dad, after that, it kind of felt like the actor wasn't as engaged as he could be. And speaking of that and being engaged, I think Hawk and Dimitri also were characters that kind of got pushed aside a little bit, especially since Hawk just won the tournament. I thought he was going to get to a little bit more, but it seems like these characters have hit a wall in terms of character growth and stuff to do. So those are some of the characters, and there's other characters that didn't really get to do much as well, that I felt like hopefully in the next season they find a way to balance it, because I'm pretty sure they're going to bring new characters in. There's a rumor they're going to bring Hilary Swank in, and she might be Tori's mom. Hopefully when they do that, they find ways to get all the characters enough screen time. They still did a fantastic job for the most part in this season, but I do notice that some of these characters that we really start out with, that were the main characters, didn't get as much as they needed. Let's talk about my verdict. So overall, I think this is the best season of Cobra Kai that we've gotten so far, and that's crazy. Usually shows, when they go on for multiple seasons, we might get the best one the first, second, third season, and it's kind of just steady at that point or on a decline. But I think the show has just gone up and up and up, because the kids are maturing, the adults are maturing, the stakes are going higher, the action is done really well, multiple storylines and things are tying together. Things that you think are filler comes back at the end, like the Chosen chasing them for the eggs, and that coming back at the end and working out and meaning something. I think that all that writing was fantastic. Now, if you don't like things that are cheesy and nostalgic and 80s based, you're still gonna have the problem with the show. But if you're a fan of the show, you gotta tell me has to be amazing content, and it made me excited to see the next and probably final season. But with that said, I'm going to give this season a B+. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? What did you think of Cobra Kai season 5? This is my first spoiler review on the channel in a long time. I usually do non-spoiler reviews because I don't want to spoil things, but the Cobra Kai season 5 has been out for like a week and a half, so I felt like it was enough time where I can do this. Let me know in the comments below if you like my spoiler reviews, if you prefer them, or you want me to do like a mixture of non-spoiler and spoiler. And also comment your favorite moments from the show, your least favorite moments if you agree with what I talked about, and hit that like button if you liked my review. Hit the subscription button because it helped this channel grow. Hit the notification bell so you can be notified of my other reviews, reactions, and ranking lists. And you can watch more of my content right now.